I know some of you do not like to have the sound on during these videos and just want to copy down what I write down. But in order for me to explain how to type the figures into the calculator correctly, you will need to hear me, especially on the back side of the notes. So it might be a good idea to go ahead and turn your sound on now. I know we've talked about circle sum in the past already, but I want to go ahead and go over a few things once more. A circle is a set of all points equidistant from a given point called the center. We name a circle by its center, so in this case it is going to be circle A. And then a radius, which we've talked about, is halfway across the circle, so we could use radius AC, we could use radius AB, or we could use radius AD. So any of those will work for your radius. As far as diameter, diameters are going to go all the way across the circle, so in this case it's going to be CD or DC. Just remember that these are segments, so make sure you label them as such. We're going to be covering two main formulas today on the front side of the notes. So we're going to talk about circumference and area. Circumference of the circle is going to be 2 pi r, or pi times diameter. I like to use the 2 pi r formula, so that's the one I'm going to use in our examples. So if I look at example 1 and I want the circumference, circumference is going to be 2 pi times the radius. So we know the radius is halfway across, so that is 9. When I type this in the calculator, I'm going to deal with all the numbers first. So I'm going to do 2 times 9 and get 18 pi. And then I'm going to need to type in the pi button. So most of you should have the TI-84 app on your phone, and that way you can get the pi button. So I would type in 18 times the second button and then the caret button. So the caret button is the one right underneath the clear sign on the right-hand side of the calculator. So 18 times pi is going to give me a total of 56.5, so 56.5 feet. Now I do need to see both of these answers. I need to see your 18 pi and your 56.5. And then as far as work, what I have down here is enough, like that's all you have to show. The other formula is area. So area is pi r squared. So this time we're going to have to square the radius. So we're going to do area equals pi 9 squared, since 9 is our radius. So 9 times 9 is 81 times pi, and then do 81 times the pi button. Again, 81 times second, and then the number underneath the clear sign. And I get 254.5. So 254.5 feet squared. Since this is area, it does need to be units squared. Looking at example 2, now notice this time it gives you the diameter. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut that in half. I only want half of that. So 8.6 divided by 2 is 4.3. So circumference is 2 pi 4.3. Again, we're going to do 2 times 4.3. We're going to get 8.6 pi. And then I'm going to take 8.6 times the pi button. And I am going to get 27 inches. So that's going to be my circumference. Now to get area, we're going to do pi r squared. So in this case, pi 4.3 squared. And that's going to give me 18.49 pi. Now this is the important part. You are not going to clear your calculator. You're just going to push the times button and then second and the little caret symbol. So second times the pi button, and you're going to get 58.1. And that will be in inches squared. So that's going to be my area answer. So one last reminder, if you haven't turned in your sound, please do so now. Okay, the last two formulas we have to talk about are arc length and area of a sector. So arc length is just a part of or a fraction of the circumference. So notice the formula, it's going to be degree of the angle or the arc divided by 360 times that circumference that we just practiced. So when I look at an example, like example 3, I need the degree of the arc. So in this case, we wanted the darkened arc. So that's going to be this part of the arc. So in other words, I want everything but the 90. I do not want this piece. I want everything but the 90. So we're going to take 360, because that's the whole circle, minus 90, and we're going to get 270. So we're going to take 270 divided by 360 times 2 pi r, and r is 18 in this case. So on the calculator, this is the important part. This is where it gets tricky. You're going to do 270 divided by 360, enter. You do not clear your calculator. you're going to do times 2 times 18. So you're going to have ANS times 2 times 18, enter. You get 27 pi. Now do times pi. So you'll have ANS times the pi, and you're going to end up with 84.8 meters. So that's going to be the length of that darkened arc. Now we're going to look at the next example. So the first thing we need to know is what arc am I dealing with? So in this case, it wants the length of DE. So the degree of DE is 120 divided by 360 times 2 times our radius, which is 2. When I type this in the calculator, I'm going to do 120 divided by 360, enter, times 2 times 2. And I get 1.3 repeating pi. Again, do not clear the calculator. You're just going to push the times, second, and the pi button. You should get 4.2 meters. So that's going to be the length of DE. Now we're going to look at the next formula. So this formula is area of the sector. This is just part or a fraction of the area. Again, we're going to use the degree of the angle or the arc divided by 360 times the area of the circle. So when I look at this example, we're going to take 72 divided by 360 times pi r squared, which in this case, our radius is 15. So just like before, we're going to deal with the fraction. 72 divided by 360, enter. Do not type in pi. You're just going to deal with the 15. So times 15 times 15. We're going to get 45 pi. The last step, times the pi button. So you're going to get 141.4 centimeters squared. Again, it's area, so it's got to be centimeters squared. Looking at the last one, you're going to take the degrees, which is 148 divided by 360 times pi times your radius squared. So in this case, 6 squared. So 148 divided by 360, enter. Do not type in the pi yet. You're going to go times 6 times 6. So my calculator says ANS times 6 times 6. And I get 14.8 pi. Then we're going to do times the second button and the pi button. And we're going to get 46.5 meters squared. So that's going to be the area of that shaded part. So again, the important thing is we're not clearing our calculator. We deal with the fraction first. We divide, push enter, times, and then whatever our other numbers are. We do not use the pi until the very end.